I know it's here somewhere. Finally. Oh, it's time for the doctor. You're listening to Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. Take it away, Doctor.
Well, it's that time again, and the doctor is in. It's time once again for Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. And on this show today, we've got so much stuff. Wow. It's going to be probably too long a show compared to our usual shows where we kind of get on and get off. I don't know. Some of the recent shows have been over 20 minutes. So, I mean, yeah, I try to keep it reasonable. But I've just got so much stuff today. It's going to be tough. We are proud members of the Tech Podcast Network, techpodcast.com. If it's tech, it's right here on Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. We're also proud members of the International Association of Internet Broadcasters. Ha ha, yes. I like that. Did I hit the right buttons? I hope I did. If I didn't, there's Tech Podcast, and there's International Association of Internet Broadcasters. I have buttons, and the buttons, sometimes I get the buttons wrong. I don't mean to. By the way, you can join us at our website, drbill.tv, drbill.tv, this website right here. Go there and be amazed, because I'm blogging again. Boy, I've been doing so much blogging, and I've got too much for the show. Also, we have a newsletter. Join our newsletter. It's email. It's painless. You go to that URL right there. You sign up with your email address and name. And if you ever want to opt out, you can opt out from that same location. But don't opt out. Join the crazy folk that like to listen to Dr. Bill. By the way, we're on a lot of different platforms. I'll put them up here. Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, Parler, YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, drbill.tv. We're on a lot of platforms. And, you know, I'm concerned about censorship. I've talked to you about that before. If they ever cancel me, don't cancel me, bro. But if they ever do, then you'll find me in all of those various places. Yes. I can be found. I turn up like a bad penny. Yes, Fred. I am worth more than a penny. Fred, he's always saying things like that. He irks me. As Captain Kirk said, he tasks me. Or was it... No, it was Khan that said that. I'm sorry, Captain Kirk. I maligned you incorrectly. It was Khan Noonien Singh, who said, he tasked me, and I shall have him. Wrath of Khan, the movie. Check it out. Anyway, I'm just a geek. What can I say? We're not going to do any ads. I was going to hit the ad button, but we're not going to do any ads today. I'm just going to forego the ads because we've got so much stuff to talk about. Locast is now available in Portland, Oregon. Still not here in High Point. What's up with that? Come on, guys. I actually tweeted them. I tweeted them and said, hey, support us and help us too in the High Point, Winston-Salem, Greensboro area. And they tweeted me back. Private tweet back that said, hey, Dr. Bill, send us money and we'll think about it. I was already sending them money. I did. I became a partner. Became a partner with them for $5 a month because I believe in the cause. Anyway, so hopefully I bribe them sufficiently. They'll connect us up in this DMA. Anyway, next item. New Tablo Quad for HDMI direct connection to your TV. Yes, that's a long title on the blog post. And I have a picture of a Tablo, just like I do here. But anyway, they are introducing a new TV connected. In other words, instead of connecting via the network, and you have to have an app running on your, via your TV on Roku or Fire TV or whatever, which still works, okay? But this now will connect directly to the TV via the HDMI port. And that will be more like folks are used to. Me personally, I like the network connection because I can see it from anywhere, even my PC and everything else. I mean, I like that. But a lot of folks are kind of like, but it doesn't work like I think it should. So they made a new one. Anyway, they talk about all the fact that it's the same interface and all of those things. What's different? What's different, you might ask? There are some fundamental differences between Tablo Quad, HDMI, and our network-connected OTA, over-the-air, DVRs. Raw MPEG-2 video is one. They include a remote. It actually has a remote. Another remote to lose. Just what we need. So, since the Tablo Quad HDMI's interface is running on the DVR itself, it comes with its own dedicated IR infrared remote. This Tablo remote can automatically switch to the Tablo's device, HDMI input, and control the power and volume on supported TVs via CEC. It is less reliant on the internet for basic viewing. Makes sense. While Tablo Quad HDMI does require internet access for setup, the OTA DVR enables you to continue enjoying live and recorded programming on your primary television without internet access for up to 2 weeks. So if your internet goes out, you can still watch your shows you've recorded. That's cool. Anyway, so it still does other things. Pricing and availability. I'm scanning because I'm so aware of time. I've got to get all this in. Tablo Quad HDMI OTA DVRs are available now exclusively at tablotv.com at the manufacturer's suggested retail price of $199 USD or $259.99 CAD. That's Canadian for those of you that don't speak foreign. Anyway, they do software updates. They have a optional Tablo TV guide. They have an optional automatic commercial skip service. Oh my goodness. That is so awesome. I love that. I subscribe to the commercial skip, and it really, really works. I'm not kidding you. I love it. I don't have to skip through on a remote. I can just let it go ping, and it puts a little gray, happy little gray screen up briefly while it gets rid of the commercial. And it's like beep, boop, and it's gone. But when I see that gray screen, I go, yes, yes. I just like that. Anyway, do you remember the old commercials with Mac and PC? And Mac was Justin, actor named Justin. He was always very, nice guy, but just a little smug, but a nice guy. Always enjoyed those commercials. Well, Intel has hired Justin to reprise his spokesman likeness for the Intel chipsets, and for the Intel PCs and laptops that are, of course, direct competitors with the Mac. I see what you did there, Intel. Anyway, there's a YouTube of one of the commercials. It's called Justin Gets Real is the campaign. And Having Choices. So check that out. It's on the old blog that we've already mentioned, the aforementioned drbill.tv. Next item. What happened to KompoZer? KompoZer. KompoZer. Yes, that's spelled funny, but that's just the way it is. This was my favorite WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. HTML editor. It's an open source project, and it started out as InView, and then they ported the InView project to KompoZer, and then it was taken over and called KompoZer.net at that website, and which still exists, sort of. And the KompoZer project still exists, sort of. It's just nobody's developing it anymore. The guy who was developing it said, I'm done. And I've got in the article here a brief history of KompoZer.net and how it was simple and free. And I still use it, but there's only one, well, it's one big problem. Starts at one little problem. No, one big problem, and that is you can't link to images that are HTTPS, in other words, SSL protected images. So if you have an image HTTPS : address and then image name, it won't use it. It'll give you an error. If you take the S off so it's no longer secure, works fine. So as long as you're not secure, you're good. Now, obviously, you can globally replace HTTP with HTTPS after you get through editing in your WYSIWYG editor, but that's annoying. But it's really no longer being supported and no longer being developed, so what are you going to do? Whoa! There's good old Fred letting us know that he's tired of me talking about KompoZer. He's like, dude, it's a dead project. Leave it alone. Anyway, he's reminding us about the Geek Software of the Week. The Geek Software of the Week this week is awesome. It's Audacity. And you might say, yes, but Dr. Bill, that was a Geek Software of the Week years ago. You're right. However, this is Audacity 3.0. It's been updated to 3.0. It's been 2. Whatever for a long time. It's now 3.0, which in open source terminology means a big release. And it is, in fact, a big release. One of the primary things, as a matter of fact, the most primary thing, there's bug fixes and all that like usual, but the big primary thing they did is the way Audacity used to work is if you created an audio file, it would have like a, I guess you call it a stub file, kind of, that kept the information about it, but then all of the actual audio was saved as a subdirectory with bunches of files in there. And if that ever got corrupted, or you accidentally blew away that directory, and you tried to open up your project, nothing. Now, there were ways to try to recover, but it wasn't very good. And so what they've done now is they've incorporated SQLite into Audacity's system so that the actual file that it produces, the project file, contains all the data. Now, what this means is if you're using Audacity 3.0, you should open up your old projects. If you've been working on them and you want to save them, open them up in the new version, save them out as the new format. It will read the old project files, it will pull them in, it actually goes, and pulls them in, and then it saves them as a file, okay? Okay, now, it also saves it as an AUP3 file, .AUP3, okay, to denote that it's in Audacity 3 format, okay? It does other things as well, label sounds and noise gate, lots of other things, but that's the primary thing, and to me that's a big fix. It's very much worth the upgrade to the new version, so go out, go forth, and upgrade, okay? Next item is awesome. It's a link to a YouTube video that is a sci-fi short film, science fiction, sci-fi short for science fiction, short film. And as I say, this film is so good. I mean, dude, it's hard, what I call hard science fiction. Basically, soft science fiction is ooey gooey, greasy science fiction with like monsters and pew 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 and just there's no intellectual challenge to those kinds of shows. You know what I mean? Kind of on par with Buck Rogers and that kind of thing back in the day. Except maybe slightly modernized. Or some people say like Sharknado. I mean, Sharknado is on the Sci-Fi Channel, or as I like to affectionately, or not so affectionately, call it Syfy. A lot of people call it Syfy because it's syfy.com. Anyway, Sharknado and crazy stuff like that. That's not really science fiction. I believe in real science fiction. I came up on Isaac Asimov and Theodore Sturgeon, yes, I think. Sorry, Theodore. I know he's dead. I actually got to meet him. I think I got a book signed by him. Dude. And Arthur C. Clarke and all of these greats. Larry Niven. Wow, Larry Niven. Now, he definitely signed a book. He signed a book called Neutron Star that he wrote that I love. His known space series, I love. I told him, I said, you got to write more known space books. And he goes, no. I was like, dude. I was in college at the time. And he said, no, I'm not going to write any more known space. I'm tired of known space. He wrote a lot of known space books. And they're all excellent. The Kazinti and the Puppeteers. And dude, check out Larry Niven's books. Anyway, I digress so far that it's silly. But the point is, there's good science fiction, real good thought-stimulating science fiction, and there's all the junk you see on the Sci-Fi Channel. Anyway, breathe deeply and go on. That's the problem with being the computer curmudgeon. I get all incensed about these things. Anyway, this short video, and it's like 20-some minutes, watch the whole thing. Watch it. Enjoy it. Set aside some time and watch it. It's so worth it. It's called FTL for Faster Than Light. It's about the first faster than light drive, a trip, flight, I should say drive, that's good, flight to Mars and back, theoretically. And what happens? It's so cool. And there's a nod to Star Trek The Next Generation's Captain Picard. He tells his flight controller, say, make it so. And she's like, okay. I love it. It's awesome. It's very geek. I don't know. It's got a lot in there for geeks. Enjoy it. Anyway, it's geek culture. Next item is VMware making a mistake with vSphere 7. vSphere 7? Hard to say. I used to be a VMware expert. As a matter of fact, I got my VCP, VMware Certified Professional. And that was my big area in my secular job back in the day, before I was disabled and retired. They put me out to pasture, is what it boils down to. Yes. And they said, we can get along without you because you're dying. I was at the time. I kept saying, I'm fine, really. As I was falling out. It was sad. Anyway, they finally just told me I had to be disabled. And that's what happened. But I'm better now. Anyway, but I'm still retired. So, this guy in the YouTube video that I link here on the blog, drbill.tv, go check it out. This guy is making the case that vSphere 7, the direction VMware is going with it, will preclude home labs and that he feels like that's a mistake because home labs, that's where professionals like myself train and, try new things and get familiar with the technology, because they can't do that in a production environment, or at least they shouldn't. Isn't that right? You know who I'm talking to. The other computer curmudgeon, my buddy. Yes, I'm sure he'll agree with me. Production is not where you play around. I'm sure he's rolling his eyes going, you're one to talk. Okay, so occasionally. But there you go. Anyway, I used to have the VertZine netcast where I talked about these things. And when I shut down VertZine, I said occasionally I would throw in content that was about vSphere. So there you go. Check out that YouTube video about this guy. I think he makes some really good points in this. Next item. Boy, this is a big one. AT&T customers can no longer stream HBO Max without counting toward their data cap. Another long title for the blog article. This is from the Streamable newsletter. It says AT&T customers will now have to account for HBO Max data usage thanks to California's net neutrality law. Now, Ars Technica came back on March 18th, a few days ago. Actually, yesterday, as I record this. And in their column, John Brodkin claims this is not true, that the new law does not prohibit zero rating, that's a term that basically means that if a company provides a service like HBO Max to their users as an incentive, they can just not charge for the bandwidth for that to give them additional incentives. And what AT&T was saying is that the new California law makes it so they can't do that anymore. And what the Ars Technica columnist John Brodkin claims is that it is not true. AT&T lied about California's net neutrality law yesterday when it claimed the law requires AT&T to stop providing free data to mobile customers. In reality, the California law allows AT&T to continue zero rating HBO Max, its own video service, as long as it exempts all competing video services from data caps without charging the other video providers. AT&T is the one that decided that they would rather not exempt anything at all. They made the claim that if California has this net neutrality law, then kind of like the zero emissions in the car industry, they can't make cars just for California. So it meant they had to make cars that had the zero emissions policy, and so it adds to the cost and yada yada, and that was their argument. So they're arguing here that they can't restrict by state internet traffic. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah. Yes, it would be problematic in terms of programming, but it can be done. The point is, what John Brodkin claims is that wasn't even part of the law. AT&T was just trying to kind of make hay against net neutrality by saying that that's the reason they weren't going to do it. Now, AT&T is not my ISP, so it doesn't affect me directly, but it's still a bum rap. Okay? Next item. A deal on a USB 600 megabits per second wireless network adapter. This is a great deal from CNET. CNET has what they call the deal column or whatever by Dave Johnson. And he talks about this Techkey brand wireless network adapter, which is already fairly inexpensive. It's under $12 on Amazon. But if you use this coupon code NQAU40CW, sure, it's in the blog article if you didn't catch it. Those of you on the audio netcast, you can go to drbill.tv and find the article. But it makes the price of it $6.49 in your cart. So, dude, pocket change, right? That's pretty cool. So if you're in need of a fast, modern wireless card that plugs into USB and bypasses your old clunker wireless card in your laptop, you can use this. Cheap. Dude. Good price. Anyway, next and last item. This has to do with security. Did I actually get them all in? I think I did. I'm so impressed. Anyway. Yes, Fred. You only impress yourself. Well, I'm at least in my corner if you're not. Anyway. Last item. Huge security issue in Microsoft Exchange. If you're a Microsoft Exchange sysadmin, you sure had better already have known about this. This is old news. This happened March 2nd. This is March 19th as I record this. So this is old news in the computer world. But 30,000 organizations across the United States. Wow, that includes a significant number of small businesses, towns, cities, local governments, churches that are using Microsoft Exchange are open to being hacked. 30-some thousand plus of them have already been hacked by an unusually aggressive Chinese cyber espionage unit that's focused on stealing email from victim organizations and exploiting them because of 4 newly discovered flaws in Microsoft's Exchange server software. It has seeded hundreds of thousands of victim organizations worldwide with tools that give the attackers total remote control over affected systems. This is not just bad, this is catastrophically bad. Okay? So if you are in a large organization like I used to be, we were in a very large organization, 25,000 employees when I was there, all across the state, you had better look to your Exchange servers and get them patched quickly. Microsoft released some patches. They released emergency security upgrades to plug the 4 security holes in Exchange server versions 2013 through 2019 that hackers were using to siphon email communications from internet-facing systems running Exchange. So go forth and patch. And this is another example of Microsoft being evil. Now, I have granted to the other computer curmudgeon, my buddy, that Google is more evil than Microsoft. He made that argument. He won me over, proved that it was so. But Microsoft's still evil. I'm sorry. He always used to tell me, Microsoft's been really good to you, Dr. Bill. Your whole career you've been using Microsoft technology. Yes, but I did it kind of holding my nose. See, Microsoft back in the day, yeah, way back there, they used to be the up-and-coming young upstart against the big IBM. And I was in their corner back then. But then they got evil. Bill Gates and all his silliness. Anyway, I know he's not actively doing anything with the company anymore, but he's still the face of Microsoft. The face of evil. Anyway, I just enjoy giving them a hard time is the bottom line. They're my punching bag. And it allows me to promote open source and Linux and open source email and other things that I use. That people are looking at the code. Anyway, it's not closed proprietary code. All right, we're out of time. We're so out of time. We've gone so long. I knew it was going to be a long show. But lots of content, lots of good content. Go back and go through the list of timestamp places where you can review these things because it's important stuff. And remember until next time that the doctor is out of here.
Dr. Bill, the Computer Curmudgeon, is a production of DrBillDaily.net with all the honors, rights, and privileges thereunto appertaining.